Hello everybody, welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today, in deck number 521, we're going to talk about Yomiji who bars the way. I'm pretty sure I botched that pronunciation. This is another Kamigawa Legends, this time from Betrayers. We got a 7 mana 4/4 legendary spirit. But the beautiful part here is, whenever a legendary permanent other than Yomiji is put into a graveyard from play, return that card to its owner's hand. Now, there have been a lot of legendary permanents over the years. We kind of have to narrow it down to white and colorless. There is no Mindslaver in here, just right up front. It's not that I wouldn't play one if I didn't have one, because I totally would. But I do like the wording here, legendary permanent. So that's enchantments, artifacts, creatures, all kinds of stuff. So I guess first let's get into legendary creatures. Why not? Now this is not a real creature heavy deck, but I think the ones that matter are pretty good. We have Avacyn, the Guardian Angel, Izamaru, Hound of Kanda, Tomic, Distinguished Advocate, Tivadar of Thorn. We're not going to play this today, Mr. Focus Camera. Evra, Halcyon Witness, Sephara Sky's Blade, Zetalpa, that's what I'm talking about. Keyword soup. Kiyamaru, First to Stand, Sir Alan, Lion's Claw, Rashka the Slayer, and Linden Steadfast Queen. Now, those are, like I said, it's not a whole lot of creatures, but some of them rather expensive. But first, I want to talk about Thran Temporal Gateway, because this is the deck for it, right? Just a 4 to cast, 4 to use, put a historic permanent, artifacts, legendaries, and sagas. Now, we're not playing sagas, but, most of our deck we can just dump into play with the Thran Temporal Gateway. Oketra's Monument being legendary and puts the white stuff on discount, double work here. We have Dragon Throne of Tarkir. That way we can set something on the throne and pump up all of our creatures, even all those warriors we just made with the last card. Let's see here. Sword of the Animist, legendary and pretty decent with ramp. We have Black Blade Reforged, which is another great... Oh, that's better. That's better. Yeah. It works very well with the Sword of the Animist. The Animist fetches the lands out. The Black Blade, it gets bigger for it. And in this deck, it's, like most of the time, going to be equipped for 3. Now, the General's Kabuto. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to an equipped creature. Oath of Gideon. Making more bodies, if you will, tokens. And then your Planeswalkers enter the battlefield with additional loyalty on it. I guess this is a good time to get to the Planeswalkers. We have Gideon Jura, the Wanderer, and Teo. Enchantment-wise, we have On Sarah's Wings. Now let's look at some... I don't know if we want to count this as removal or not with the Hell Vault, but with enough mana, it is. Gonti's Aetherheart. We've got some artifacts. Now, You've got to exile this to take the extra turn along with your string of 8 energy. But now, Predator Flagship, that I can totally get behind for removal. That is just outstanding. And, legendary artifact. And here's the part where you laugh at me. That's right. Parhelion 2. I like it. I mean, yeah, it's just a big old dumb artifact, but you know what? It's fun. I like it. Okie dokie. Let's see here. How about stuff that kind of goes with our legendary theme that may not be legendary, like Vassal's Duty. You can prevent damage that would be dealt to legendary creatures. So that's, that's ballin'. Hero's Blade. It's going to auto-equip to legendary creatures. Board the Weatherlight. Here again, abusing that historic mechanic. I don't know if abusing is the right word. Taking advantage of. There we go. Thalia's Lancers, while not legendary, they legendary tutor. Now, this is going to take some time to read. Loyal Retainers. Now, Loyal Retainers was a Portal 3 King, or one of those portal sets. I want to say Portal 3 Kingdoms. And it got, I think, a Judge printing and then this printing. You sacrifice Loyal Return to return a legendary creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. That's pretty neat. We have Call the Gatewatch to go and get, walkers that we need. But I guess we need to look at, how we're going to play some of this stuff. Some mana. We're going to start off, of course, with our Soul Ring. We're playing mono white, so Heraldic Banner is pretty nice. Dreamstone Hedron, Urgolem's Eye, Seer's Lantern. Oresco's Explorer I'm counting as ramp just because that's, it is. It gets you lands from your deck. Now they're in your hand. I don't know if that's ramp or not, but it puts cards in your hand. Now, the Honor Worn Shaku can get you a lot of mana if you just want it. Like some of your things, your equipment, it doesn't matter if they're tapped or untapped. So your enchantments don't matter if they're tapped or untapped. So why not, kind of get some more use out of them. Running the Burnished Heart to go get our... It was really hard for me. Oh, it was so hard for me to run Burnished Heart in a white deck and not run the Sun Titan. We have Valor because, in the graveyard, might as well give them all first strike. Now, Witch's Oven. Yeah, I know it does not seem like it belongs, but the Witch's Oven is a way. It's a free sacrifice. Yes, we get a food token. If it was big, which more than likely it's going to be, we're going to get 2 food tokens. But this is a way to get our legends into the yard so that Yomiji can get them back. We have Well of Lost Dreams. Whenever you gain life, like say when you eat some food, you can draw cards, gain life. Reward the Faithful. Any number of target players, each gains life equals the highest converted mana cost among permanents you control. As you've noticed, we have pretty high CMC in the deck. Now, there's a really good chance the any number of target players is going to be me. Now, however, if we're playing the Kingdoms variant, and I think I know who my fellow barbarian is, or if I'm the knight, the king, some of that's kind of a dead giveaway. Don't know. Pariah. Pariah is in there because I am banking on at some point in time getting another Chomano. Chomano needs to be in the deck. The Ritual of Restoration, of course, is to get an artifact back. Reconnaissance. Now, I had a reconnaissance question as to how to explain the not per se loophole, if you will, but how to explain the reconnaissance trick, if you will. Now, when you declare a creature as an attacker, it is an attacking creature for the rest of the combat step. Now, there is a moment where creatures have dealt combat damage, but they are still an attacking creature. At that point, that you have already done combat damage, that is when you want to activate your reconnaissance. That way, you get to do your creature's combat damage and then remove it after it has dealt combat damage. Pretty sweet. Hence the reason why this random uncommon from Exodus has, skyrocketed here in the past year or two. So let's look at some removal, because let's face it, we need some removal. We have a bunch. Shall we go targeted first? Sure. We have Take Vengeance. Now, Valorous Stance can be either or, and that's what I really love. We all love modal cards, yes, but a save me or destroy something else, that's kind of what we want out of every card, isn't it? Of course, we have Erase, which Erase this may matter a lot. We are going back to Theros pretty soon. We've got the full spoiler out now. I haven't actually had a chance to watch the pre-release, but as of the time I'm recording this, the actual pre-release is only 8 days away. So, yeah, Indestructible Gods are a thing. They're back. There's 5 of them, and Erase kind of makes that happen. A Disenchant, a Deicide. No, I'm not metagaming there at all. Immolating Glare, Reciprocate, Reprisal, Stasis Snare, Devout Decree, and now we got our wipes, if you will. Now, Planar Collapse is a funny card to just watch it exist on the board. Now, there are, depending on your meta and the way your local playgroup plays out the typical game, there are times when I have wanted to run this out there as soon as I've gotten 2 mana, and there are times when I haven't. I mean, it just depends on the actual game in front of you that you're, card in hand and whatnot. Well, but I love to see the table's reaction. Because it's one thing to play it on a board full of creatures that they're just going to go boom on your next turn. It does kind of save, it chokes everybody's hand that turn. Because they're not committing more creatures to the board. Unless you're, me and you forget about it. And I do that sometimes. But it's interesting when you play a Planar Collapse to an empty board, how much it just stops. Until some player says, all right, you know what, this is enough, play enough to get rid of it. But anyway, there's several, that's what I love about Planar Collapse, is there's several different ways to play it. And, all of them end up with a lot of dead creatures. Ravnica at War. I love that this says exile. Exile all multicolor permanents. Not destroy, exile them. They gone. Citywide Bust, of course, killing all the big things. Planar Cleansing, just getting rid of all the things. Now, as far as lands, the only 2 legendary lands I've got, God's Eye Gate to the Rekai. You get a Spirit when it goes away. Flagstones. You get another Plains. But then we have the usual suspects of Secluded Step, Karu, Rogue's Passage, Sajiri Step, and Cryptic Caves. It's white needs every advantage it can get, and I know right now there is a lot of, we'll say a lot of consternation pointed toward white, because let's face it, white, it just isn't, it hasn't had as many power cards as the other colors. You know what? And that's fine. I've been playing it an incredibly long time, and I've seen white. I mean, white it has the answers. It's can literally do anything except draw cards, and that's kind of the drawback. That's part of the color buy. Anyway, that's 521, starting a new row. So I do appreciate y'all watching, taking time out of your day, and thank y'all so much for liking and subscribing. There's now yesterday the channel got up to 4,000 subscribers, a little over, I think 4,004 if I'm not mistaken. But I appreciate it. Thank y'all so much. And if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and go down there, subscribe, like, share, comment, all the fun stuff. But thank you so much. And we have got, have a long-awaited deck. Okay, not long, probably 6 months-ish. But let's just say tomorrow, if you're a fan of Phyrexian Mana, tune in. But right now, it is time to shuffle and cut.